All right, I'm in Costa Rica, country number 57. And as you can see, I'm caught in the rain with no umbrella, and I'm walking back to my Airbnb. First impressions of Costa Rica. I definitely feel safe. It's already got like a really chill vibe. One downside of my Airbnb that I'm coming up against is that the toilet cannot handle any toilet paper. No toilet paper at all. That even means used toilet paper. I don't really like the idea of storing my shit stained toilet paper next to me. Yeah, I don't really like that idea of doing it. So I'm trying to plan around finding restaurants to go eat at so I can use their toilets, because I don't want to risk clogging. I don't want to shit where I eat, you know. But yeah, adventures of Costa Rica are well on their way. So for $20 a day, roughly, here is the Airbnb that I ended up getting. And it's down this little alleyway. And here we go. My Airbnb in the bed that I've already slept in. I asked the host if I could get a fan. The answer was no. It's uncomfortably humid for me, and so I want a fan to blow off my sweat, and no luck with that. I actually turned off the refrigerator because it was super noisy at night. I have a coffee heater, but I don't think I've got any coffee. And I went walking around the neighborhood trying to find something. No luck. Last but not least, here is the bathroom. Oh. And there is the receptacle that I'm supposed to throw used toilet paper into that I really don't want to. So yes, this is my Costa Rican Airbnb. All right, it is my third day in Costa Rica. Pretty bad food poisoning, and it's the bad kind too. It's the food poisoning kind that comes out of both ends at the same time. Anyways, I was supposed to go on a tour today. The tour company was nice enough to allow me to move it. So, life pro tip, if you're ever sick, can't make a tour, try to reach out to the tour company and ask them if you can move it to later to recover. It's important to remember when you have food poisoning that you should really be kind of looking at your symptoms and kind of self-analyzing, and when you throw up and have diarrhea, you lose a lot of minerals, a lot of fluids. So I wasn't able to hold any liquid down, just have a sip of water and all gone. I waited for 6 or 7 hours. I messaged my Airbnb host overnight to please fetch me some water and Gatorade because Uber Eats wasn't working for some reason. So I'm coming out of it. No more throwing up or diarrhea today, but I'm still quite weak. All right, I find myself in the Costa Rican Central Market today. And just like the Guatemalan Central Market, tons of things going on here. But one thing I've noticed is that the variety here is way larger. They have like foods and snacks that you can buy. The corridors are way more narrow, but like look at this, just like I feel like you can buy anything here, whereas in the Guatemalan Central Market, it's mostly like souvenirs. They had like a food sort of restaurant area that I kind of explored, but this is all intermingled. And is this? Do I hear like a pet shop somewhere? I hear birds. Oh yeah, look at that little pet shop. All right, I find myself here at a place called La Sorbetera de Lolo Mora. You can see the title up there. So they've been around since 1901, which means they've been around for about 120 years. Apparently they haven't changed the recipe or the flavor or anything at all. And the ice cream itself is like a vanilla cinnamon flavor. And I describe it almost like a banana horchata flavor, if you could imagine that. So I got a medium size right here, which is about 2,000 or 2,000 Costa Rican colones, and that's about $3, 3 USD. Very. Oh yeah, this is hitting a spot. All right, so I'm still in the Central Market, and I found myself in a Costa Rican soda. And what I've sort of gathered, what a soda is basically like the Costa Rican equivalent to an American diner. It's like very no frill, come in, order your food, get out. Generally locally run. There's no like chain sodas that I've become aware of. Might be wrong. If there's any Costa Ricans watching this, please correct me. And so it kind of looks like this. It's just, like I said, no frills, very diner-like. I'm at a cafe counter with my coffee here, and just got my. I'm personally at this Soda San Martin in the Mercado Central, and I got the casado con pollo, but non-fried, because I'm getting over food poisoning and don't want to risk it. All right, so it's late at night. I'm done with food poisoning, and I'm hungry. Where am I? I'm hungry. In Costa Rica. And so I'm browsing through Uber Eats, and I discover this oddly titled place, which is one of the top rated restaurants that delivers to my area, called Pollo McCrispy, Plaza del Sol. And I'm like, McCrispy? That's oddly ripping off of McDonald's. But if you look here, it is actually literally a McDonald's. But all it does is sell chicken-specific items. There's no beef burgers, there's no fish burgers, it's just chicken and fries. That's all there is here. I can't order beef or anything. There's fried chicken, you got your grilled chicken sandwiches, you got your McNuggets, McPollo, Junior, everything here in chicken form. So, Costa Rica, you're awesome for having a chicken-specific McDonald's. All right, this is a little unconventional, but what's coming up next is a roughly 45-minute interview that I had the luck of having with an independent chocolatier based out of Costa Rica. Some things that we talk about are what makes a premium chocolate, how does a chocolate bar get made from harvest to fermentation to, extraction and roasting and the whole deal. It's quite interesting, in my opinion. If you want to skip ahead, I'm going to put a timestamp down below as well if you just want to skip to the closing thoughts and montage. But I hope you stick around, enjoy the interview, It was my first time filming with some slightly new equipment, so the audio honestly couldn't be as good of quality as I would have liked. I just misused my microphones and had an improper setup. I tried to caption the whole interview. The original interview was like 3 hours long, and I cut it down to like 45 minutes. So just trying to caption 45 minutes worth of speaking is a little bit difficult. So once again, I hope you bear with the audio. I feel like it's just a very interesting interview, and you can learn a lot about the world of chocolate. So please enjoy. All right, I'm in Costa Rica, and I decided to go take a chocolate making class. And where am I? Who are you?
Hi, I'm Lucia. We are in Barrio Escalante in San Jose, and we are going to make some chocolates. Dark chocolate, homemade, 100% cacao from Costa Rica.
All right. Okay. Hi.
Hi, Thomas. Welcome. This is our house. Here we keep our little machines, our first machines, to make chocolates because we love to make chocolates every day. And we have other plants outside of San Jose. But this is the place that we like to experiment and make new flavors.
Okay.
So, welcome. About me, I am Lucia. I study culinary arts here in Costa Rica. We travel around some countries like Mexico, Colombia, Netherlands, France, Italy, and there we take courses about chocolate making.
Okay.
And we have a lot of influences and knowledge about how to make chocolates in different places.
Okay.
And you're going to learn about this in this workshop. And I am also anthropologist and archaeologist.
Oh, de verdad.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And so I combine the indigenous knowledge of the cacao, thing that you are going to learn here in this workshop.
And who are you?
Okay, yes, I am Mauricio. I am, also pastry chef in Chocolatier.
Okay.
And besides that, I also, my first career is theater. So I'm an actor and theater teacher. So
wow. Here you go.
there you go, yeah. And that's why I also like chocolate and cacao, because flavors allow us to express ourselves with a background of our origin. So that's why I'm very thrilled to work with the chocolate and to share with you also the high quality chocolates that we produce here in Costa Rica. Okay. Actually, this is our brand, is Tapir Chocolates. That's the brand that we founded 6 years ago.
Okay.
We have 10 different bars. It's all chocolate from Costa Rica with local ingredients, all dark chocolate. And yes, we sell it on the airport, different points of sales too, and directly to the customers and to our consumers.
Through like an online website or something like that?
Yes, and also, different types through social media also, and that's something that, we really like. This type of contact also. We also make shippings to, outside of Costa Rica, like private shippings. We really like to explore the flavors of Costa Rica and also the high quality of cacao that is being produced right now, and especially to produce a ready-made product here in our country, because normally this type of raw materials are exported so that other countries make also very good chocolates.
But Costa Rica is the
best.
Okay.
But Costa Rica also can do those products. Focus on making sustainable chocolates also, because that's another important part right now, how the chocolates are produced and how can we even as a small batch chocolaterie, how can we add value to the chocolate making and to the process of regarding sustainability also.
So if I can ask,
sure.
What could possibly make a chocolate unsustainable?
Yes.
Like over harvesting of cacao or use of poor equipment
Well,
that harms the environment.
especially the 80% of the cacao worldwide is produced in two African countries, in Ivory Coast and Ghana, and there are a lot of, well, very low income to the farmers, like $1 per week. So there's no quality life that you can assure to those farmers. There's also child labor, and also that in these countries needs to produce more cacao, and the cacao needs like a kind of a forest environment, and that's why they're entering into national parks in this type of countries. That doesn't happen here in Costa Rica, fortunately, but that's the problem regarding those productions. Also that, for example, chocolate industry is controlled by 4 to 5 companies, but they actually decide the prices. And for commercial chocolates, they use, for example, instead of cocoa butter, they use palm oil, cheap palm oil that also have produced this type of monocultives dynamics. But yes, that's kind of generally speaking or related to the food industry. In general terms, yeah. And fortunately, the cacao offers a product that need healthy soils. So that's why it's important that the cacao here in Costa Rica that cannot be considered like a monocultive. It needs another trees, another cultive. So
because if you plant the same thing too many times, the soil gets bad,
Exactly.
so you have to cycle through it.
Exactly, and the cacao needs other. Actually, it's a shade. It needs shades to grow. Actually.
Really, it can't do direct sun. Well, it will grow in direct
Yeah,
sunlight,
exactly. But it needs higher trees and other vegetation. So that's
for the optimum.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, this is the fruit. Let's begin with the fruit. The cacao is actually, even here in Costa Rica, is not for example, here in San Jose, it's not very known fruit for the freshness. And anyways, the people you can have it, they are more interested what is inside of the cacao to make chocolate.
Yeah.
And well, you can have this.
Okay.
And we'll just lick the outside of the pulp, the white pulp.
Okay.
So you just lick it.
You can lick it and
Yes,
put
you can
the
lick it
seeds.
like a leash. We have a spoon there.
Okay, okay.
You can take it. This is the color. That's the first change that is being done.
You can see inside is purple.
Yeah, the
and
inside
this
is
color change.
this purple. But now is this like does it change over time, like oxidation, like how you have like avocado?
Yeah, like avocado. Yes, it's more with the roasting. But the important thing is the flavor, the aroma of the fresh fruit. And yes, we lick the outside like the leash, like leashes that we just lick the pulp. But it's important those flavors, tropical flavored fruits like mango, like pineapple, like bananas, depending like these mild notes of flavors that we want to reach at the end on a bar. That's something that we need to explore.
Okay.
Something beautiful about the cacao and very powerful is that cacao is one of the more complexes foods in terms of flavors. So you can find citric flavors, herbal flavors, fruity flavors, flavors related to nuts, related to woods, and that's why it gives this delicatessen, and that's why it's this gourmet food that it is right now. But you have to treat the cacao and the chocolate with a lot of to focus on the quality to reach to those points.
Okay.
And in cacao, we're talking about developing those flavors through the process.
Okay.
So yes, Tom.
I'm curious. I'm sucking on this right now, and the outside it does remind me of like lychee,
Yeah.
the Asian lychee.
Yeah.
But I've been sucking on it for a while, so do I spit it out?
Yeah, you
I
can
chew on it.
No,
You
we
can
normally.
chew it, but it's very bitter inside. But you can.
Can I even
Yeah.
eat it?
Yeah.
Yes, you can eat it right now. It's raw. It's going to be raw, but it's not going
It's
to have a
interesting
much
to
flavor.
know how is the raw flavor. but it's not really enjoyable because it's very bitter
It is very bitter.
and
And-
woody.
Yeah.
And still different from what we have in mind about chocolate.
Mm. You're right, but I can kind of taste. I can imagine how this would become chocolate if I put a lot of sugar in it, or like. It is like wood or coffee.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Very coffee flavor.
Yeah. And well, the first process is the fermentation process.
Yeah, yeah.
So we take out all these pulps, and well, that's done by the farmers. We only work with local farmers and
Okay.
small local farmers from Costa Rica,
Okay.
especially in Upala and in the Caribbean side of Costa Rica. So they put all these white pulps in wood boxes, and they cover with a plantain leaf, and they leave it there for more than 1 week, 15 days, 20 days to ferment.
Just open air fermentation.
Yeah, it's kind of they put the leaf to
Maybe keep bugs out.
yeah, kind of like that, but they it needs the air because it needs kind of the relationship with air, so it cannot be completely closed.
So you wouldn't, when you want to ferment these, you would not put it in like a vacuum sealed mason
Exactly,
jar.
not in a vacuum seal. Yes, it needs the air also, and something.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, something
Yes,
interesting too.
some people make the cacao fermentation in jars at home. I saw some videos, but you have to open every day.
To
It's,
let the air in to continue to oxidize it.
Yes,
Ah.
to have the two processes, the aerobic and anaerobic,
Okay.
in terms of fermentation.
Okay.
So, but something interesting about the cacao is that it doesn't need any yeast or any other bacteria. It's just the white pulp, the fruit itself it's fermented, and we need that fermentation so that those vapors and flavors start to go inside the bean.
Yeah.
Because as you notice, there are some flavors, but they're not like defined.
Yeah, it is.
After that, after the fermentation, well, you see the weather condition in Costa Rica they vary a lot, so there's not like an exact time of fermentation. It really depends of the cacao, of the soil, and also of the geographic. But, and after that, also is the farmers dry the seeds to the sun, similar to coffee, like kind of greenhouses, and they put it there for 1 week. Again, Costa Rica is a very humid country, so this may vary, and also it depends on the sun, or how much sun we got those days. But normally it's around 1 week, 1.5, 2 weeks to sun dry it. And that's the first stage that we have. That's the sun-dried seeds.
So this is even after fermenting.
After the
After
fermentation,
fermenting.
after sun-dried.
Okay, okay. And I noticed that we have some.
That's the pulp, actually.
The dry
Okay.
pulp.
The dry pulp.
We don't eat more this pulp, but we eat the whole seed. You can taste it.
Okay.
Now you know how is
And this
the
was the whole seed that I can
Exactly.
here.
and you can see how the pulp now is different because now it's dry.
Yes.
So this is also the pulp has
Uh-huh.
dried off.
Uh-huh.
And,
Yeah.
And how do you know when it's ready? Like, how do you can look at it? Like, couldn't you over ferment it?
Yeah, actually, yes. You can over ferment it, or you can ferment it less. Yes, actually, that's a lot of knowledge of the farmers. It's a lot of empiric knowledge. Also, like trying, different researches regarding to flavor. Like, okay, let's say this flavor with this type of fermentation, with this time of roasting.
And the climate has been this way,
Yeah.
so we're looking to extract these flavors.
Yeah, sometimes you get to the farms in the fermentation process that is going to start actually by the beginning or half of July, and you get very, very strong flavors,
Okay.
like rotten, I don't know, something very strong that you
Putrid.
Yeah, that sometimes not exactly putrid, but yes, it's very strong, and you say sometimes you have doubts that it's
Okay.
going to work, but yes, it works.
Does the pulp then get washed off ever, or this
No,
is
it's
this
just
is
sun
no
dried.
processing?
Yes, the sun dried is to put out the humidity.
I see. Okay. Well,
So now it's dry.
right off the bat, it smells different.
Yeah. and because also maybe because of the fermentation.
Yeah, this smells like fresh. Like you just opened up the lychee. I keep going back
Yeah,
to the
fresh,
lychee.
exactly.
Like the fruity, and then this smells nothing like that. This is, you can actually smell chocolatey.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing about developing.
And coffee and
Uh huh. Okay. It's still bitter. Oh, but it's like it's gotten sour now.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I might expect after you ferment something. It's
Exactly.
It is
like
the
it's
fermentation flavor, the sourness.
Yes, you need that to get those sour or citric flavors. Still, it's very bitter
it is very bitter.
and
Yeah.
and astringent to the mouth. Like it dries your mouth. That's something that we need to develop
Mm-hmm.
across the production, across the processes.
Okay.
And yes, the fermentation. Actually, that's what we need in the fermentation process to make stronger some flavors
Concentrated.
and concentrated. And with the sun right, we evaporate the most power flavors that they don't. You don't want those very strong flavors at the end of the chocolate bar.
Okay.
Next to that, we roasted. That's roasted seed. That
This is the roasted seed. After like one day roasting and doing circles, it's easier to take out the pulp or the peel.
Okay.
We don't need more the peel because you don't have much flavor. The flavor is concentrated in the seed.
You're right.
Mhm.
But we use it. Some people use it for tea, kind of to get a little.
like a little cocoa tea.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
You
a
can
mild.
put these pills in a hot water and it's a cacao tea. And
Oh.
delicious with a little bit of chocolate flavor. And this is the roasted seed. Now, after the roasting, you can notice that we don't have anymore the sourness.
I see. So
Now
roasting.
it's just bitter,
Mhm.
more bitter,
Okay.
but a little bit more nutty, and we are near of the chocolate flavor.
Okay. Do you actually have a roaster?
No,
Okay.
We have that in our plan. Yes.
Oh, you have it in the plant.
Yes,
okay.
we have that in our plan, and because of the pandemic, it's close very close to the public. Yes, with that, all that process. Actually, the roasting process is the first process that we make in our plant.
Uh-huh.
The fermentation and the sun dried is made by the farmers,
Okay.
and we roast it by between 36 to 48 hours.
Okay.
And
And what's the temperature? Because you're kind
Yes.
of it's almost like it's like a drying machine.
yeah, exactly.
Like it has to
Exactly.
tumble it
It
and
has to-
rotate it.
Convection, yeah, it has to have convection, and we use below 40 degrees Celsius. It's below 70 degrees, between 70 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit, I think, or below 40.
I'll do the
degrees.
conversion
Yeah.
somewhere. Subtitles here. Okay.
But because we need to roast the cacao with mild temperatures, because the cacao is a superfood. The cacao has a lot of nutrients that have a lot of antioxidants, riboflavonoids, magnesium, zinc, and very important dopamine liberation and endorphin liberation. So that's why we roast it, so that at the end the bar can be also a superfood.
Interesting. So, like, it's crunchy.
Yeah,
Kinda.
it's
Now
crunchy.
it's crunchy.
And like, I feel like you could even take it at this stage and sprinkle in sugar and sell it like cacao chips
Yeah.
as
exactly.
a snack. Are there cacao?
This is exactly that nibs are.
Oh, these are nibs. Okay.
These are nibs,
The
yes.
nibs are just crushed seed, and now it's like a trend to put in puddings, in
Yeah.
smoothies.
I mean, the nibs make sense, but I would find it really cool if you just sold the whole seed
The whole seed, yes.
with like something to dip it in.
It's very difficult to have the whole seed
'Cause it's crunchy, it's a little
because
fragile.
in the roasting machines all the seeds crush. And this, for example, the first one seed that you eat,
It got dried out.
This
Oh,
one,
yeah.
the roasted, was a hand peeled seed.
Oh, okay. So it usually comes out like nibs.
Exactly.
Yes, it's more difficult, most
And
likely.
the nibs are the most exported product because now the most difficult part of the cacao
Processing.
now is ready.
Okay, but you know, if you sold
Definitely.
the whole
Yes.
bean, I
Actually-
would probably buy it like
We-
you could call them like chocolate chips.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yes. Actually, when we do it for ourselves. We put it like when we are on the road with the car. We have to do like to be outside, and we put it like those beans, like or dried fruits, or yes, and
A
it's
snack.
like a snack. Yeah.
This is in there as well.
Yes, we have done it also with raw sugar, like to put it like cover it with a little bit of sugar, with a little bit of temperature, or you can put some spices there, also like cinnamon or anything that you like, ginger, for example.
This one
Yeah.
is the key.
And is the raw, not the raw, but the pure cacao. So it's the pure superfood itself.
Okay.
Okay, after that we have the nibs, we have to do two different processes to
Okay.
make the chocolates.
Okay.
To have creamy chocolate, we can put the nibs in a melanger machine, a grinding machine, but we need a little bit more creamy, and we need to add more butter, cacao butter.
Okay.
So we have to extract the cacao butter in a pressing machine.
Okay.
It's a pressing machine that works with hot, so the butter melts
Okay.
and comes out, and the powder stays in the machine. And now we obtain these two different.
Otra cuchara.
Oh, everything.
We
okay?
have these two
Yeah.
these two products: the powder, the cacao powder, and the cacao butter.
And the cacao butter. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So this actually came from
Uh-huh.
this. Did you have to in order to get the cacao butter? Do you have to worry about ratios? If you had one seed,
Yeah,
would
like
you get the appropriate amount of
it's-
cacao butter and cacao powder? Is it the right?
Yeah, we obtain like 30% of cacao butter
Okay.
and 70% of powder
From a
from the
seed.
in a seed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
But then when you make the chocolate, then you actually maybe need you
We
can
need
play
like-
with the
like
ratio.
50
you
and
play with the
50.
ratio. Actually, that's kind of what is about chocolate making. The ratio of cocoa butter, which type of cocoa butter, because we need premium cocoa butter. That we use very selected seeds just to extract the cocoa butter and also to make the chocolate,
Okay.
because that's very important. Yes, you can taste the powder. Taste a little bit. It's a powder, so take.
It's
be
very
careful.
dry, so take care.
Yeah. Don't breathe it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I've
can
had this
feel-
before. Yeah.
All the flavor is concentrated in the powder, and all the texture and the aroma is in the butter.
That's,
see.
yeah, that's something really interesting about the cacao, that the aroma comes with the butter. That's why the butter is, actually you can have it, we use it here for the skin. You can rub it in your skin.
Okay.
We use
Or you
it
can
here.
put in your lips like
A natural lipstick.
and you can feel all the aroma and all the benefits of for the skin, because it's a very high quality hydrated product.
Actually, it's kind of the most appreciated product of the cacao is the butter, because it is used in the cosmetic industry as well as the chocolate industry.
I can see that.
You don't
I
have
can see why you
flavor.
call it butter. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is almost like
Mhm.
oil and butter. So that's really cool that you are able to kind of play with the chemistry of this to
Mhm.
Yeah.
extract this. Now, I'm curious. You keep saying premium cacao butter, right?
Yeah.
So what would a bad cacao butter be
Well-
like? Once again, it's all coming from the process of fermenting the
Exactly.
seeds, right? So the seed might not have been fermented well, or even when you were trying to extract it
Yeah.
and maybe press it out, something?
The quality of the bean actually is the key is the quality of the bean, the first bean. You saw that there are very fresh beans. There's no mold outside because sometimes, and also they mix qualities. They need quantity, so they don't mind exactly about quality. So whatever it comes, we take it and the cheapest. So we extract the butter from there. And that's why it's important to obtain cacao butter from premium cacao seeds also. That's the kind of the difference.
But it's a little hard to get around the quantity problem because at the end of it, you still are going to need a 2-to-1 ratio of cacao butter to the chocolate powder.
Exactly.
Right? And so you either throw away or sell.
You don't
throw it away, but
we sell it.
You have a surplus of cocoa powder.
Yeah, actually, yes, we have extra cocoa powder. We use it for our pastry recipes.
Okay.
We sell it also to pastry chefs or to restaurants. To other restaurants or to other people. Also, other people buys it to make hot chocolate or their own chocolate. Yes, but you're right. You have like that extra.
You can do a mix in your mouth.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, some people. Some people make, especially outside of Costa Rica, some people make chocolate with powder, with this type of powder, and they mix it with cocoa butter. Separately.
Cocoa butter.
Yeah. They mix it, and yes, that's another way to do it.
And if you're feeling really crazy, you could do some other solid oil at room temperature. And I could imagine someone could cheat and make poor quality chocolate if they have some other solid fat and mix that in.
Yeah,
right?
For example, the commercial chocolate prefer to sell the butter because it's very expensive and they can win a lot of money.
And they'll use palm oil instead, which is
and that's why you guys
This is the business in chocolatier.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
actually,
more difficult to buy a bar with the butter. And this is the most expensive chocolate bars. You ask why this chocolate is very expensive because you have the butter.
Or why the other one is so cheap?
Yeah.
It's because of that, most likely. And the amount of the cacao, because if you, for example, our ingredients is just 3-4 ingredients. But if you check some commercial chocolates, they have a list of ingredients.
Yeah, 50, 20, 30.
Important is that the healthy chocolate have to be over 70% of cacao concentration with cocoa butter, with the complete cocoa butter. That's what is technically known as cacao paste. It's the combination of cacao powder or cacao solids and cacao butter in a bar. Because some people also make portions, so they put this amount of butter with the other butter. But yes, especially in the most commercial brands, small batch chocolatiers like us and around the world, actually they are working completely in the other direction. And the advantage also for us is to work with very fresh raw materials. They don't have to travel. They don't have to make any trouble. And Costa Rica right now, Upala, for example, yes, Upala right now is making his name in the chocolate world, and the chocolate world is again putting the eyes on Latin America, because it's important that the center of the origin of the cacao is Mexico, Central America, Brazil, and some part of South America like Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Venezuela, and Bolivia.
Because it's fair trade.
No, that's where the fruit was born. I mean, those are the countries that is the center of the origin.
Interesting. So how did it get to Africa? Like, because there is...
yes, that was...
it's more
yes,
equatorial.
after that, it is, actually that's important. Yes, the cacao is grown in that Ecuador area. Yes. So after colonization, they saw the cacao. The consumption of cacao in Europe at that time was increasingly growing. So they start to grow cacao in African countries.
Okay.
And then other countries are starting to put on the map. Recently, Asia is coming into the map.
I was just about to ask because I flew into Vietnam.
Yeah, I was
And
going
when
to.
I was flying into Vietnam, landing in Hanoi, I just saw like fields of palm trees.
Yeah.
And I didn't make the connection of palm tree and palm oil. So then, okay, palm oil is there, but Vietnam's also kind of a tropical climate.
Very similar to Costa Rica, actually.
And so if cacao is able to thrive there, if Vietnam wanted to compete, they could probably start production of their own cacao beans, and then because they already have the palm oil there, and both things are on site, and people have even lower costs.
Most likely, those other type of countries outside of Latin America are more focused on quantity.
Yeah.
Especially Costa Rica, we cannot talk about quantity. We're a tiny country, so we're more focused on quality. Because sometimes, you cannot compete with this type of production. Actually, that kind of happens to Costa Rican coffee, for example. Vietnam produces a lot of amounts of coffee, and big brands buy Costa Rican coffee to give aroma to that rest of the batch.
Cut it.
Same as Latin American cacaos or Costa Rican cacaos. They are both outside of Costa Rica to give the aroma and the flavor to the other maybe not that good chocolate.
Okay.
Or they buy, for example, butter from these countries, or cacao, or the cacao itself, the chocolate itself, to give aroma to this other type of batches. So,
Okay. I have so many. Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, sure.
So, going with the assumption that you could make the best chocolate in Central and South America.
Yeah.
Why is it that people believe, or how did it become that German and Belgium chocolate started to be considered the very sought after chocolate?
Yeah, exactly.
Very good question.
Especially if they're outside the climate, but there is a little bit of, German didn't have much colonialism down there, right?
No, in this country they don't have any cacao trees.
Yeah.
At all. At all.
It's all technique around.
But in Europe was created the bar of chocolate.
And most likely the equipment was developed in Europe.
So chocolate was invented in Europe.
Most likely the chocolate bar. Yes, we can say that the chocolate bar was invented in Europe. That's the innovation, and that definitely changed the history of cacao and chocolate. The cacao history, is very interesting because of that relationship also with our Latin American historic processes. So it's really, really interesting. But yes, if you think about the experts on chocolate, you think about Belgium, Switzerland, Germany, Netherlands, France. We have learned from them as former chefs and pastry chefs. But also we can consider, for example, also that especially the indigenous people from Costa Rica and from Latin America, they protect these seeds from a lot of years ago. So actually they are the grandmothers and the grandfathers of this product and this food. So they should also be considered have a recognition to that. And that's why also right now the cacao is facing back to the origins, Mexico, Central America, Ecuador, because again it's very important where the food was born. For example, like wine, that France, Italy have this tradition. But yes,
But Argentina and Chile has
also
some good
yes,
wine
and
too.
parts also California, for example. Peru also, they produce very good. But yes, that's something that I really love about, or for example, coffee. Coffee is not from Costa Rica; it's actually from Africa, brought to Costa Rica.
Okay.
Yeah, that's amazing about the food, and especially this type of food that is so globally consumed.
Uh-huh.
Another interesting fact about the cacao is that it has been the most traded seed of the world.
The most what?
Traded.
Traded seed.
Yeah, traded seed.
Okay.
Since ancient time in Latin America, before colonization, during colonization, and nowadays this moves billions of dollars per week. Yes, right now is the most traded seed still.
Yes,
kind
the
of-
next step
Yes, the
Okay.
next step.
from powder here to chocolate.
Okay. After 2 days, we put the nibs in a machine, in a grinding machine. The chocolatiers we call it melanger, and
Melanger, okay.
Melanger,
for 2 days, and we add more butter in this machine
To get that ratio up.
to have this creamy texture.
Okay.
And after 2 days, we obtain the 100% cacao chocolate.
Okay.
That's
So
the
you can
first
try.
product that we produce in our plant. It's the purest of the purest. It's 100% cacao chocolate.
Okay.
Bite it and let it melt it a little bit in your mouth so that you feel the sensation. Again, we're talking about a complex food, complex flavors, flavors with personality, different types of, and just with one ingredient, you can reach that. That's something that I really love about cacao. Some people compare it to wine because of the complexity of flavors you can reach.
Mm.
Yeah, the best way to ¿cómo se dice?
To taste?
To
To
taste
taste
to taste it is the two types of smells. A smell with your mouth outside and a smell inside like the wine. And with the inside smell, you can feel the notes like wine, raisins.
Nuts, almonds, mild flavors of dry fruit, maybe. What do you think?
I find it interesting because you ground it down. I can still taste. It's a little like it's still powdery or grainy.
Yeah,
There is still a little bit of that graininess
yeah.
in there.
Exactly.
And I'm curious because you have this cocoa butter, which is solid,
Yeah.
But it
this,
melts.
it melts, but this feels even more hard.
More
than
hard, yeah.
How did it get more hard than the cocoa butter?
Yeah,
It
it's
was that
Because the
recombination.
powder, you add the powder and you are adding como peso,
You add in weight, yes.
weight.
And with the grinding process also, that's actually what we make. We really mix it to the. We're grinding and mixing at the same time.
Okay.
So we're kind of emulsifying. It's kind of emulsifying that we're trying to reach with these two flavors, just those two products.
And you can feel the difference between the nibs and the chocolate.
Yeah, I'm
Are
happy
the
that I
same
didn't know that.
ingredients, but it changed a lot.
Yeah, actually, that's something that again that we're talking about developing flavors. Is actually you're tasting. That's the same as these products, but it has the texture. When we're talking
Yeah.
about chocolate, we're most likely talking about texture.
Interesting. Now, here's something crazy to ask. Okay? This is essentially the same thing as this, but you've rebalanced the ratios of the cocoa
Exactly.
butter. Have there been any crazy scientific efforts to genetically engineer the cocoa beans to increase the cocoa butter? Because if you can increase the cocoa butter rate,
Yeah.
you can skip this step, right? Because then you just be able to grind it immediately and get to this texture because it's really that ratio.
Yeah, ratio. Yes. Well, you have to worry about the cacao to be genetically modified.
Yeah, I know, of course, but
at least we have to be calm about that topic. But yes, it is important. you get actually Costa Rica have the CITA is the Central of International Agronomic for tropical countries, and here in Costa Rica were developed with normal crossings, genetically crossings with different
not accelerated
Yeah.
genetic engineering,
They-
just
Just natural
Just
genetic.
flowers.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
and they developed 3 different variations, hybrids. Actually, you taste this nib comes from a hybrid
This is a hybrid nib.
and
Okay.
a hybrid.
And is very high in butter.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
the first
Good.
one,
I knew.
the first one seed, this one is less in butter.
Buttery, yeah.
Uh-huh,
Okay.
buttery.
Actually, if you check the, is a really good question. If you check the concentration of butter across the history, it has increased.
Yeah,
It has
over
increased
generations.
Over generations.
Okay.
The hybrids are the seed is bigger. The concentration of butter is more
Larger, yeah.
butter.
Yeah.
And yes, that has been developed a lot. And I imagine there's a lot of scientific researches right now
Because there's so
related
much
to
money.
that. Yeah,
into
exactly,
if
definitely.
You can make it.
Yes, it's very important. Actually, the key is that ratio: butter, fat, and solids.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
After that we obtain the 100% chocolate, we add sugar. We use just organic cane sugar, not refined,
Okay.
like the brown sugar. And after 1 day more, we obtain the 85% cacao chocolate. We put 15% of sugar, so you can try it and you can notice how it changed just with sugar.
Okay. And so when people hear the percentage of that's really the sugar to this
Cacao solids, yes.
But would it be more fair to rate like a chocolate as like cocoa butter to cocoa powder to sugar?
Yes, technically speaking, that's why the people measured it in the mixture, butter and powder.
Okay.
So that's why they call this mix cacao paste, like in the
Cacao
chocolate world,
Okay.
versus the sugar.
Okay.
But you're
this
right.
this
Because
is
your
the
cacao paste could be different depending if you put
Exactly.
more butter in there. or
That's
less.
that's kind of the secrets of the chocolatiers too. Yeah, the amount of butter and that. But yes, it's true. It is not measured that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Because anyways, you can see that as the whole cacao, what the cacao brings to the bar. That's what we, and that's 85. Again, a very pure
85%.
85%. Yeah. Again, very pure chocolate. And
Are you sure this is different?
yes,
Yes, it is different. okay.
Yes, you don't notice at the first taste because the first flavor was the cacao and then the sugar.
Yeah,
It
the
is
sugar
because
comes.
it's a high quality chocolate. A high quality chocolate, you have to feel first the cacao and then the sugars.
Okay.
yes. In premium chocolaterie, we're interested to let the cacao speak it for itself
Mm.
and propose an experience to the consumer.
Okay.
And the sugar is used to that. So we define the flavors that we're more interested in, and again, just 3 ingredients
Okay.
that can make difference in the flavor.
Okay.
And then we have the 75% cacao.
Okay.
And we add 25%, just 100% more than the other one.
Yeah.
And you
10%.
can feel how it changed. This is the most
See, this is
the bestseller chocolate.
25% sugar.
Uh-huh.
Still, again, it's considered a dark chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
It's considered a superfood because of the amount of cacao solids.
Mm-hmm.
It's the chocolate that we use for our brand, for our 10 different flavors.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, it's very balanced flavor, allows you to to enjoy the cacao flavor. It stays in your mouth as well as the other flavors, because that's important also. Chocolate is like wine or rum or bourbon, whiskeys, that the longer it stays in your mouth is most likely related to the quality and to the work behind chocolatiers, farmers, and the curation in the different processes. And yeah.
I find this really interesting. After I've had the really sweet one, when I go back, well, I finished the regular one. This one now tastes more bitter.
Yeah.
Because of the sugar somehow messed with my taste buds to like really accentuate the bitterness of this again. And I'm curious, this must be even.
Yeah, because your paladar changed a lot because you tried all the process of cacao and
sugar.
And if you try it, you never go back again to the sweet chocolate. Yeah. And this is still dark chocolate, the 75.
And we use raw organic cane sugar to use it, so it's that's another advantage to work here in Costa Rica. We also have a very good quality of sugar. Okay. Just 3 ingredients, and ratios between sugar also gives these different experiences just with these ingredients. Okay. And still they are considered a very high quality chocolate. Below 70%, for example, we use 75, but above 70% of cacao concentration are considered dark chocolate and superfood. Below that, we find milk chocolate, premium milk chocolate, between 55 to 65. Then we have the semi-sweet, 45, 55. We have the sweet chocolate, between 15 to 25 ratios, and the most commercial chocolates below 10% cacao, below 5%, or even flavor of chocolate that sometimes are used. And most likely they with palm oil and with a huge list of ingredients.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, sometimes you try to know what is the concentration of one
It's
chocolate,
impossible.
and they don't have any cacao. It's just flavor of chocolate in the ingredients. Yes.
And sometimes they use like dark milk chocolate. Sometimes I have seen that. It's kind of, because if the consumer is searching for dark chocolate, maybe for health purposes, it's kind of sketchy.
All right. Well, yeah, it's fine. So this is the end of my chocolate making experience, which was amazing. Thank you, you two. You're great.
Gracias, Tom. Thanks again. Thanks for joining us, and we have also a very good time. You work very professionally.
But I think we've maybe invented the next big global snack phenomenon. Yeah. And if you become like millionaires or billionaires, like, it all happened here maybe. And we found these these cocoa beans, and I thought that they're just delicious all by itself,
And you can combine it with we put some cinnamon, we put some honey. You can use also agave honey, or put some ginger. Yes, let's see how it goes with Tom's cocoa beans.
You don't need to call it Tom's cocoa beans. If you put my name in it, okay, but you could sell this. Thank you very much, and that was an awesome chocolate experience.
Pura vida.
Pura vida.
Pura vida. Okay, Costa Rica, country number 57 is over. And I'm, full disclosure, this is a year or two out of Costa Rica. So I'm doing my best to remember. On my way out of the country, I was at a private dinner tasting, and it took me past 10 p.m. Then turns out in Costa Rica, Uber shut down from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. And my next morning's flight was out at like 4 or 5 in the morning. So it was a whole complicated thing, and I didn't really have time to film an outro at that time. Whoops. Wow, 2.5 years later, what are my memories of Costa Rica? Well, I've been editing this video, and yeah, it sucked because I got food poisoning. I believe what ended up happening is I read online that the water in Costa Rica was safe to drink and fully potable, and yeah, I feel like I made a terrible mistake doing that. That's my best guess, honestly. Yeah, it's really unfortunate because, you know, I didn't get a real chance to go out to like the Costa Rican rainforest and hike up a volcano like I was hoping I could have. But the impressions that I left were, you know, just being able to talk with the people. The folks were super educated. Everyone was really kind, and I felt kind of had my back or was looking out for me. Yeah, there was a restaurant that I had gone to, and I didn't realize it, but the Uber closed down past like 10 p.m. at the time in Costa Rica. So the owner of the restaurant was kind enough to give me a ride back to my Airbnb and also help arrange a taxi to pick me up from my Airbnb that night and take me to the airport and leave me there overnight so I could move on to my next country. And yeah, you know, Costa Rica's super cool. I remember that they don't have a military. They reallocated their funding to go into the education system. So that's super cool, and it was really, I felt it reflected in the population that everyone that I had a chance to have a chat with was very educated, and I had really stimulating conversations with a lot of people. Other things about Costa Rica, I would definitely go back. I've wanted to go back, but I just haven't had a chance over the last 2.5 years. Yeah, one day I'll go back and absolutely go to the rainforest and cloud forest and try to hike up a volcano and do my best to avoid food poisoning. But of what little taste that I did get of Costa Rica, I had a blast. Nothing rubbed me the wrong way, and I can't wait to go back and give Costa Rica more of a fair shot in the future. So thank you very much, Costa Rica. Gracias, pura vida. Tú eres muy hermosa. And until next time, ciao.
Caña dulce pa' moler cuando tenga mi casita. Ay, qué suerte tan bonita, ay, qué suerte tan bonita que pa' mí tendrá que ser. Cuando apunte el verolis y yo viva con mi nene, no tendré ninguna pena, no tendré ninguna pena y seré siempre feliz. Tendré entonces mi casita y una milpa y una milpa y con mi Dios y mi moreno, caña dulce y buen amor. Esta vida noble y buena, esta vida noble y buena, pasaré sin